You're still watching TVC Breakfast, a great conversation we've had in Lagos. Now let's take you all the way to the center of unity where we have Eshobomo Imodu and Tijesu Adeoye with the FCT Brief. Machanina, Inakwana, the conversation is now with you.
Good morning, Ria. A beautiful Friday morning here in the FCT, and thank God it's Friday. But of course, before we go into the weekend, we'll give you what we have on the brief today. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians, and it's nice to be here. Thank God it's Friday, TJ.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this day.
But is there any rest on the political scene? We see a lot of activities happening aside the consensus crisis we see in some places, and you know, APC trying to put out the fires. We also see some people also throwing their hats in the ring.
Yeah, that can be rest in the political scene, because from now on till election, the momentum will keep increasing and all that. APC was to start the House of Rep primaries today. They postponed. They'll now start Saturday. And at the other end, also you saw what Makinde did in Ibadan, throw his hat into the ring. He wants to run for president and forming an alliance with APM. And from my own calculations, looking at political scene, that is not the end of the alliance. I guess they're moving towards an alliance with another alliance and all that.
We are going to see a lot of interesting things unfolding on the political scene. 1 minute, in fact 1 second, is a lot of time when it comes to politics.
In politics,
a lot can happen, realliances and alliances, alignment and realignment. We're going to see a lot of that. And even this consensus arrangement, it's something that would interest me to see how the APC will intend to manage this interest. Because when we saw them taking a lot of defectors, it looked good at that time. But now that everybody has interest, how are they going to manage those interests? So many big wigs in the party.
I quite agree with you, but also if you look at the APC very well, they have this capacity to manage internal conflict. I remember in those days, the PDP used to say it's a family affair, and you would think there's going to be an implosion, and suddenly the family affair, they will sort it out. Now, APC over time have been trailing this path of being able to solve the crisis. You saw what the president said recently. Yes, even if you emerge winner during the primaries, you'll understand that, look, you won for the party, you won for all. And if you lose, that is not the end. You should prepare for the next stage. I think politicians should understand that, look, it's not a do or die affair. If you lose,
I don't think they get that. It's a do or die affair.
For the fight. But once somebody claims the ticket, others will definitely rally around it. And I think APC, at the end of the day, might come out are stronger if they manage it very well, because this consensus stuff is the best way. It's the best way. It's better than the direct primaries, because it forms unity. That if it is managed, there is no imposition and all that, if it's properly managed, that is the best way political party can keep themselves together ahead of a major election.
It's the best way only if there is agreement. But when you have a lot of interest involved, how would there be an agreement?
But TJ, there will always be interest.
There's already allegations of imposition. There's already allegations.
I'm also a strong factor that you must provide something for me. If you give me something that is bad, that is good, okay, I will take it. So sometimes it's not serious disagreement, just because they want to negotiate for something.
So irrespective of everything, there's always movement on the chessboard.
That is just it. And that's why we call it political party. It's a big family. It's a party.
Well, 2027 is definitely going to be interesting. I think more interesting than 2023.
And we keep reporting it.
Of course, we keep an eye on that. Well, let's go into what we have for you this morning. Good morning, everyone, and you're welcome to FCT Brief. As the political tempo ahead of 2027 gradually gathers momentum, conversations around consensus candidacy, party loyalty, and the growing influence of young voters are beginning to shape the nation's democratic landscape. Across political parties, strategic alignments are emerging, alliances are being tested, and the battle for relevance is already redefining the future of electoral politics in Nigeria. This edition of FCT Brief takes a critical look at the power dynamics behind consensus politics, the place of loyalty in party structures, and how youth participation may ultimately determine the direction of the next general elections.
From internal party negotiations to the rising demand for inclusion by young Nigerians, The road to 2027 is steadily becoming a contest of influence, numbers, and political survival. Our focus this morning is on what these developments truly mean for political actors, party stakeholders, and the electorate as Nigeria inches closer to another defining democratic moment. And to examine the evolving realities of the political space, we have been joined today by Umar Jijiwa, an APC youth advocate and political commentator with strong perspectives on youth engagement and party politics ahead of 2027. Mr. Jijiwa, nice to have you here with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, APC, every other party are going through the screening and going through their primaries. And in APC, precisely, there is this growing tension as a result of the screening, endorsement, and also power alignment. Now, how best do you think the APC, going into the primaries, can manage this process so that they don't end up with internal cracks ahead of the 2027 election?
Thank you so much for having me. You see, no matter what you do, that is what's going to happen. We are going to have cracks, no matter what you do about that. But the truth of the matter is this: it's the only stable party that you have now. You don't have any other place to go. Because all these other parties that you are seeing, I don't think that anybody can stand much of a chance. Perhaps maybe for some members, maybe some reps, but I don't see them taking even one state. I don't even see them going anywhere like that. So at the end of the day, APC, so that means if you win the primaries of APC, it's like you won the election. Now, we have a lot of people that have come into the party. A lot of governors have come into the party. And they have decided, most of them, that they wanted to do consensus. I was a bit excited when I thought, okay, they were going to do direct primaries, you know, we're going to go to the field and all that, and people will get the opportunity to choose. And now we are seeing that they are going for consensus mostly. Now, a consensus is not a consensus until when everybody that is eligible accepts it. And the only way to prove a consensus is by winning an election. Because if you say it's a consensus, is that the consensus of the members of the party? Or is that the consensus of those elites that want to run for that seat? That is the question you need to ask.
Interesting, because some governors are now being accused of trying to handpick their successors under this consensus arrangement. Now, it now brings the question, is the APC gradually normalizing political godfatherism despite promising progressive politics?
I'm unhappy about that aspect of politics now. The governor is a party member. He has the right to choose who he wants to choose. But I am also a party member. I should have the same opportunity. Just everybody, you know. And godfatherism is something that has brought Nigeria to its knees at a point in time. You see, the APC in 2015, when it was made, it was sold as a party for the masses, the party for the poor people, the party that anybody can have an opportunity, the one that is cheap, because we believed that PDP was a bit more expensive and things like that. And of course, people with influence will always put their influence, because it was still their influence that was able to push you through the line and win an election. You can't take it away from them. And I believe a governor can have an opinion. He can even have a preferred candidate. But it's left for that governor to then take that candidate and convince every other candidate for them to voluntarily write that they have stepped down for that person, either by negotiation, whatever way they want to do it, it's possible. It's possible. And that's the good part of politics. Everything can be determined within 24 hours.
I like the way you said it. Everything can be determined within 24 hours. Now, the Electoral Act clearly spelled it out. Consensus. And where it fails, you go direct primaries. And the consensus is that every aspirant contesting for that particular position will be in agreement. Now, are you faulting the process, the consensus, or the way the politicians are handling it? Are we saying that consensus in itself, because politics is about consensus, so are we saying that consensus is wrong? Or the way some individuals are handling the consensus?
Consensus can only be done if you win an election. That's all. That's the consensus. Even at that, that is the only way you can prove that that is a consensus.
I don't get you.
With
If
that
you win an
popularity.
election,
For example, now, if we sit here, we might have a consensus within ourselves, but that's a consensus within ourselves.
So it's more of an endorsement.
Yes. A real consensus in practical manner, when you want to look at it in a practical way, in the theoretical way that they designed it, is not something that is possible politically. Because at the end of the day, you will always have someone that is going to lose, no matter what you know about it. So consensus is a good idea, but I think we need time to be able to design it. You see, by removing indirect primaries, we did a lot of damage to the politics in this country, because we have removed another level of screening that would have given us opportunity. All these candidates will have been traveling from state to state. They will have traveled from state to state that they want to meet delegates and explain things. Now, all I need to do is simply go and buy the form and I can say in Abuja. When the time comes, I hope it's a consensus. If it's not consensus, I hope I'm popular enough everywhere for them to pick me. And let's tell ourselves the truth. There is no party in Nigeria that has the structure to be able to have 8,000 words, 8,000 polling units. Even INEC, we see how difficult it can be. The time is too small. So what does that mean? We have no choice. Our hands are tied. We have to go into what they call consensus.
Well, many aspirants right now, especially under the APC, are marketing themselves as Tinubu loyalists. That's what we see. Many of them are saying they have the endorsement and support of the president. Now, is the president now the biggest endorsement machine ahead of 2027?
The presidential endorsement is the biggest opportunity anybody can have. But how do you prove it? Let the president tell us to vote for you. We will not even compete. We'll take it. We are loyalists. We don't have an issue with that. Let the president say, I want this person.
Well, how does
And
that
you'll see us
affect
go to work.
democracy? If it's the president that has to endorse before, isn't the ultimate supposed to be the choice of the people themselves?
The president is also a person that has the right to have a choice. I'm just saying, if he has a choice and he says he likes this person more, we will go there.
don't I see that is the order of the day?
Yes, it's not an order. I'm just saying because of the love that we have for Asiwaju. He's so popular that we trust that whatever decision he makes, he's making that decision for the best interest of this country. Because when you are a president, I mean, what is above that except God? You know, people need to stop underestimating what that office is. It's not a small honor. After God is government.
Okay, Jijiwa, I'd like us to look at this aspect, the capacity of the youth, the run-up to the next election. Every political party is talking about the youth mobilization, and the APC is already also very keen on mobilizing the youth. But how well would you say that the youth have been integrated into even this process of consensus building, apart from just a youth leader position and all that? Would you say that they have carried the youth that are the voting machine of the political party effectively well?
My brother, I'm not going to sit down here and lie. We need to do something about that. It's not even possible to actually have youths in a consensus like that. It's not even possible. Youths can never do that, you know, because Nigerian youths are the engine block behind anything good in this country.
But they say the youths are the leaders of tomorrow.
Let us start by being the leaders of today.
When is that tomorrow? Well,
you see, that whole leader of tomorrow thing, when is tomorrow coming? It should be in 24 hours. We are still in 24 hours? Since that time, 24 hours has not passed? No, please. There's no tomorrow here. We're talking about today. But then again, when it comes to the party of politics, let's say the political parties, you know, at the end of the day, you compete. You compete. So even for people that are no youths, if I'm going to be fair-minded, they also have a right to participate. they also have a right to participate. We cannot just because we are youth say that no, it has to be like this. Then at the end of the day, we are replacing the same issue with the same issue. Yeah. What we are asking is for politics to be politics. Come out, convince us, let's go. That's all.
Well, the APC benefited massively from the youth-driven digital mobilization in previous elections. Is the party now underestimating the anger and political sophistication of the Gen Z voters ahead of 2027?
I think the party has to definitely look at that, because if we want to win election, we have to be realistic. You have to be realistic. If you are not realistic, you will end up missing the goalpost. The truth of the matter here is this. Yes, youths are not happy. And that's the truth. And that is the truth. You see, me, myself, I have not said a word in a while, because I was also a bit down. I was also a bit angry, just like any other youths here, because I wanted to participate for an opportunity to become the leader of my party, because I believed I could bring something new to the game. I was unable to do that. So, of course, as a human being, I was a bit angry as well. But I've moved on from that. So that's what I'm saying to you. Youths are human beings too. They also have dreams, they have aspirations, they have ambitions. And any human being that has ambition in life, and he is not working towards that, or he does not feel he has the strength to work towards that, that person will, of course, be very, very angry. This is natural.
Okay. Jijiwa, I also know that in politics, everybody has aspiration, and once a decision is taken, the party's position, the aspect of party loyalty comes up, and everyone toes the line of the party because party is supreme. You have also listened to you at several places. You talk about your passion for Mr. President. Now, as somebody who is a youth advocate, how best do you think you can mobilize the youth for his ambition?
You see, this started, immediately after he became president. Politics, elections are not won at the ballot only. Election starts before the time. It starts 2 years, 3 years. If you believe in a leader, you want to support that leader, you start to build it up. You start to build it up 2 years, 3 years before the time, because you like what he does, or because you support him. You see, we have to start wondering and start asking ourselves this question. Should we continue looking at popularity for it to be the best way to make a decision on who is supposed to be a leader or not? That is one part of it that I'm a bit confused on. You know, I'm with the president because, not just because he's popular, but because I like what he does. And I like the leadership he has shown before, even before he was president. I'll tell you the truth. So we have to start seeing it that way as well. But even for the president himself, he has a responsibility to me and to every other person that is supporting him, that loves him, because we go out there to mobilize for him. And we have not stopped and we will not stop doing that. You know, youths have to understand, and we need to educate youths more. I believe that youths need to be more educated about politics, and they need to be more educated about responsibilities of offices. The issue that we're having now is this. The youths themselves have lost that ability to think that they can be there. They think it's so far away from there. They see it as, is my father so? No, I've not reached there yet. No. Well, we're not going to come and kick anybody out. But what I'm just saying to you is this: we want to participate better. We want to participate better. 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago, I pushed a motion whereby, please, can they leave that office of councillor of everyone to only youths, people below a certain age? Is it possible? At least let some of these youths learn how to run an office. Because undoubtedly, one day, they are going to find themselves in leadership, because nobody lives forever. Now, at that point, if they don't have the experience, or they don't even understand, and they are still running through emotions, they are still angry, they don't understand the other aspect of leadership, the boring aspect of leadership, which is sitting there in the office, memos, things like that. We call that the boring part of leadership, because most people always have essays and whatnot, but at least understand the process. Let youth be able to participate to understand the process. And that was why we pushed for us to be able to push every councillor to only youths in Nigeria, just for participation. Because I am a bit worried about what is going to happen tomorrow. If this information is not moved and given to the next generation.
But if you're noting that, the youth population seems to have an erratic character, and that is very bad for leadership and in fact governance, how do you now say that youths begin to manage themselves, to even market themselves to be, a suitable choice for such an office? Because power is not handed a la carte.
Of course it's not. I mean, you're quoting the president now. The thing is this. Normally, as a young person, you are going to be a bit emotional because you have so much energy. But even at that, I think the youths have actually even come down than what it used to be before. I mean, look at it. Some years ago in this country, people of my age, 30-something years old, when they get angry, they go and do coup. That is the truth. Let's count it from the beginning of this country. All the coups most times, where when youth get angry, the young people that are in the army go angry, and we see what happens. They do coup. So the youth have even come down now, not like before. So if it's about emotional intelligence and then being able to control yourselves, I think that the youth are better off now than they were before. Because during our father's times, now coup. It's coup. That's what, when they get angry, it is a coup. It's not like that again now.
Okay, which society has actually moved far beyond that mentality, that thinking. Now, 2027 election is just around the corner. Opposition, just like the APC, your party is preparing to win. The opposition parties are also galvanizing their strength. And don't you think it is too early to write them off? Especially that we're also looking at the youth population is the integral one. They also have the youth population that are supporting them. So how do you think the APC can maintain its own strongest lead ahead of the election?
You have to understand, when you look at politics, you only need enough to win. Now we're taking our strategy. Politics is not just making rallies, going out, do you like me, do I like you? No. It comes down to structure, mobilization. There is so much work in politics. People don't even understand it. The moment you join politics, you have put your life inside one kind of way in this country because of the difficulties and the things that you need to do. So that's why I said to you, in politics, all we have to count is, let's get enough to win. Let's get enough to win. That's what you're doing for. You're here to win election. Get enough to win the election.
Well, speaking about getting enough to win, how do you convince politically conscious young voters at the moment that consensus politics is in fact democratic, and when many of them are demanding transparency in an open competition?
Well, I also don't like consensus, and that's the truth. But then I'm a loyal follower, it's fine. I did not get the opportunity to compete for what I wanted. So now, if you say we don't want to do consensus or stuff like that, does that mean that we also stop zoning? Because these are things that we need to look at critically. What does it mean? What is consensus? What is zoning? Let's educate ourselves, because it seems as if for young people, right, these are just words that are being thrown at them during political seasons and whatnot. And it's just the way they take it. They don't even understand this. What is the history of zoning? Why did you bring consensus into the equation? What is the history there? Explain it to us. Young people need to be educated about politics. That's what I keep saying every day. Young people need to be educated about politics, about history. There is nothing that was made by mistake. If you know the history of this country, you will understand why these things were created. But then again, are they obsolete now? Do we continue something that might be outdated? Should we kick that out or should we keep it in? Now, that is the question that we want answered.
Okay, I want to take you back to your home state, Adamawa. The APC, do you see the APC as being able to maintain the lead in Adamawa State? Because you have also the former vice president that is from that state. He's in the ADC. And do you see the APC being able to maintain the lead?
The lead? Yeah. We didn't have the lead in Adamawa State. It's not that we're gaining it.
Ahead of 2027.
Yeah, you know, we'll see when we go to the polls. But as of last election, I mean, we were not leading. PDP won Adamawa State. They won it. I mean, how many senators did we have in APC? I think only one member won in APC in the last general election. So PDP were the one that were in the lead. So it's PDP that will tell us today what they're going to do to stay in the lead. But what I'll tell you is that what we're going to do to take that lead.
They can tell us.
Good. Now, we have brought a lot of young people into the party in Adamawa State. We have vibrant young people trying to run for elections in Adamawa State. In fact, is it Yola North or is it Yola South? We had 31 youths that bought forms to go to reps. 31 youths to go to reps. We have youths running for Senate in APC alone. It's even ADC in Adamawa State. They're maybe like the legacy parties of before, that they have leaders, godfathers, and things like that, Atiku and Co. and whatnot. But for the younger people, it's mostly APC. Take that from me.
Well, beyond winning elections, what does the APC actually want Nigeria to look like politically and economically? And is there a coherent ideological vision that is driving the party as it stands now?
I keep saying it every day. Our parties were not built on ideology. Our parties are not in the platforms to win elections. It's important for you to understand this part of it. Because sometimes when I'm seeing what youths are doing, you know, killing each other, fighting each other, you know, of different parties, I find it as if it's something just crazy, because it's not a religion. None of these parties that you're fighting for, you're not fighting for your ideology. You're only fighting for a logo. We did not create our parties for that, as ideological parties. APC was not created because of just ideology. Yes, we had a perception of what we wanted the ideology to be, but it was not cast in stone. So it has changed over the years. And that's the truth. Mostly, APC was created by parties coming together because they felt no single party could put down PDP. So it was born out of necessity. Let's educate people about these things. Young people need to understand this. The sacrifices that were made to be able to bring PDP down. Young people in Nigeria today, they don't even know the kind of power that PDP used to have. You know, to beat PDP was not a joke. It took parties dissolving themselves and their structures completely, sacrificing that to just come and say, right, let's make one vehicle that can reach that place. That is what APC is. And I think that that's why we're having some issues that we're having now. Because it was not created out of an ideology. It was just people coming together and saying, look, no matter what we do, these people beat us. The same thing you see this coalition trying to do. Although they're still trying to use an outdated software.
It's a fine place to leave the conversation. I was going to ask you if the APC is threatened by the alignments we see, but you already answered the question. Thank you so much for your time with us on the program.
You're welcome.
It's a delight speaking with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's it on FCT Brief this week.